Just as we require Earth suits to live on this planet, we would require ships for travel.
Welcome everyone to the 199th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, November 23rd, 2017. I'm Rick Crammond, your host, and I find it almost hard to say that it's 199 workshops that we've done at this point. And I thank Mr. Keshe for his participation and guidance and direction through all of those workshops. I'd like to start off this workshop with showing some of the new products that we have available in the Keshe Foundation. And let's have a look at that. Let me see, just bring it up here. That over where it should be. And let's just make sure that worked properly. Okay, you should be able to see this is the main website of the Keshe Foundation. And if we go to the store, which is the button in the upper right here, and go to the KF store, then we have a new item here. There's a KFSSI cup, and this is a promotional product. And when you
Rick,
click
you're
on,
still sharing the other screen, so you're not seeing it.
oh,
It opened in a new window, so you have to share the new window.
right. I'm sorry. Thank you. I guess it'll do that every time. I'll just share my window desktop there, rather. Okay, you should be able to see that now, right?
Still same screen.
It's not sharing my
No, I don't see it
desktop
yet.
now.
No.
Okay, try again here.
There we go.
Okay. Third or fourth time's the charm here. Okay, now you can see where the previous window, this one, led to when I clicked on the KFSSI store. It goes to this main Keshe Foundation store, and it's got a new picture here of a cup with KFSSI logo on it. And when we click on that, we goes to a page that in the store where there's other products that are available. These are supplied by a company called Zazzle. And we have, there's a t-shirt shown here, and a trucker's cap, or trucker's hat it's called. There's KFSSI logo on a button. Women's cotton t-shirt with the logo, and the coffee mug. And then if you were to click on these figures, then that'll take you to the Zazzle store, where you can select a size, for example, up to adult 4 times extra large. And actually you can select different styles as well if you like, and have the same Keshe Foundation logo printed on it. Looks like this as well. There's all of the products have several pictures, several viewpoints you can look at the products with. And you can also share them with your friends, or by email, or by Facebook and Twitter and so on. And you can, if you like it, we would appreciate as well. There's a little heart down in the bottom right there that can be clicked on. And so if we go back and maybe look at, well, I'll take the coffee cup, for example. So there's the KFSSI logo coffee mug. Doesn't come with the donuts. You have to order them separately. And also you can look at the collection that this came from. Oh, I see. No, I guess you can't do it that way. But if you look at our collections, there'll be a collection of mugs. And let me see, I think we go to collections for that. Okay, here's the mug collection. So there's different cups. This is an interesting one, for example. Or this is quite elegant, I thought. The gold painted rim on a white cup is very nice. Now, what happens is when you order these things, 20% of the profits will go directly to the Keshe Foundation. So you'll be supporting the Keshe Foundation by buying these products. So that's the main idea there. Now, Zazzle does give special sales. Like right now, they have a zone day deal 4, they call it. That's the code. And it's 20% off of any product that has that labeled on it, which is, I think, most of the products today. But this particular deal ends today. They have other ones that come and go as well, quite commonly. So this is the Zazzle site, and it's separate from the Keshe Foundation site, but you access it by clicking on the pictures back in the Keshe Foundation store. So by accessing through this picture, you can go to the other pictures that will take you directly to the Zazzle site to be able to order t-shirts, and you can also find some of the other things from the Keshe Foundation main storefront, it's called, and it looks like this. And this is at www.zazzle.com/Keshe Foundation, all one word, Keshe Foundation. That's under Zazzle. If you look up Zazzle and Keshe Foundation, it should take you right to that, right to this site. And there you'll see some of the latest products. I put the KFSSI logo on a stamp. You can actually buy US stamps that are legal with the KFSSI logo, and it says, "We replicate the same technology as the universe" on it. You get, what is it, 20 stamps or something for $25, I think it is, something like that. You can look at it quickly. This is the first class letter stamp. There's also other stamps that are lesser. Let me see, where is it? I'm not sure where. Oh, there's the details on it there. Let's see, how many do you get here? Well, it didn't seem to say for some reason, or I'm not seeing it, but it did say something like 20 before. Okay, anyway, we can look at some other things here. There's all kinds of different apparel, like jackets, for example, instead of t-shirts. This one has a small KFSSI logo on the front, and then on the back there's a large KFSSI logo. You have kids t-shirts as well. And we even have somewhere here. Oh, I can't find it. Let's have a look here. Somehow I'm not able to come up with it. We have dog shirts, and somehow it's not in my product selection here. Maybe it still has to come through. We can have a look at what it looks like here. What happened? They seem to have taken out the pet clothes. They've taken out the pet clothing for me here. I know what's happening. They mentioned that they're changing the location of their main USA factory, and some products will be temporarily out of stock for a week or two until they switch over to their main factory. So I'm sure that's what happened with that, because that was a popular one. I wish I could show the picture. It's really cute, of a dog with a jacket on that has a KFSSI logo on it. I think Mr. Keshe has seen that before. So this is basically it. This is some of the products available. There's cell phone cases, for example, different cell phone cases. There's one with a wood cover for Samsung, for example. And if there's any products you see that you want the KFSSI logo on, if you can let me know, probably through webmaster at keshefoundation.org would be good. And we can put the logo on any of the products that are available. So I guess that's about it. Yeah, it's a great new feature. I think people are going to like the Keshe Foundation t-shirts. They're really cool. Such a beautiful logo.
So get your gear today. KFSSI gear.
Yeah, and it's great gifts for Christmas. Christmas is rapidly coming up here, and it's a good time to order now. It takes about 2 weeks, up to 2 weeks, they say. It only takes a few days if you're in the US, 2 or 3 days generally, to have the items shipped to you. Some foreign, these are available virtually all around the world. And there's different Zazzle stores. There's a UK Zazzle store, and it will also be showing these same products and so on. But it's up to 2 weeks delivery around the world, no matter where you are. So it's not too bad that way. Okay, I think that's all I need to show for that. And
we also do have the Gans humidifier in the store. Rick, maybe you want to show that one as well?
Okay, sure. Just a minute here.
I sent you a link in our chat.
I did put, oops, it's not in the link. Not showing up, Vince. My whole link isn't showing up for some reason. I don't understand. Just a second here, I'll try to get it a different way. That didn't work either. Okay, thank you, Flint.
Yeah, you're welcome.
For some reason, I'm not able to access that now, so something went haywire with my browser. Okay, let me just get that up on for live stream. There we go. Now, perhaps there's someone that can answer a question or two about the Gans humidifier. Somebody asked, what does it do? And somebody else asked, does it come with the Gans already in it? Or do you have to add your own Gans to it? Anyone have any answers about that?
This comes from Italian factory. And it comes with a dry gas you can add to it. And it's just creating like a zinc oxide or CO2. It just creates a peaceful environment. And it's like a night light and a humidifier. And it's very nice. You can even add odor to it if you want.
So it kind of balances on its bottom there just by itself?
Yes, it stands side. I've seen it in Italy, in the factory.
Very interesting.
So you don't attempt to screw it into a light bulb socket.
I hope not.
Well, maybe it would power your house if you do. This is the ultimate light bulb, I've always thought. You should have a light bulb that when you plug it in, it powers your house, not your house powering your light bulb.
The wireless technology which is coming up most probably will do that. there's a lot of things getting tested and developed in the background, and one of them is the wireless technology of lighting and energy. This is all in process of being completed and to be marketed very soon, where you, this goes plus the, what you call the off-grid generator. They go together.
Mm-hmm.
The off-grid generator is mainly for, will be released at the same time with the space technology, because we use it for the space lift. It's an independent energy supply.
That's part of the, what you call the Pandora's box, that once you start to open it, then the rest of the things kind of start to come out too.
The biggest problem, yeah, the biggest problem has been the introduction of the timely introduction of the off-grid unit, and we are very soon we will decide which way we're going to do it and how we have to make an arrangement with our Chinese colleagues, the time of launch and agreements which we have made, and they will call the time and the place.
As you mentioned in the previous workshop, that's very much dependent on the world events and so on as well.
Yes, we have announced already in the teaching in the past week, if we see a position of war as the oil to be used as position of the war, we will release the what we call the power unit, off-grid power unit, and we have taken the steps that in so many ways, if ever anything happens in that front, we will respond immediately by releasing the, as a part of stopping the war between Iran and Saudi Arabia, and we have put location, 4 or 5 different locations. If anything happens, the instruction is that the Keshe Foundation trusted group, which have the blueprint, will release the technology instantaneously across the world, which means will demolish the, literally any forces that the oil was going to be used as a source of energy wars by those who are behind it. We have approached Vatican in past 7 days. We had meeting with them. There was a meeting in Vatican last night, yesterday, in respect to call of the Keshe Foundation for Peace, and we have received our responses from Vatican and 2 other leading nations in the world. And according to that, as we said, we have taken the steps to negotiate between Iran and Saudi Arabia, 2 sides of the Islamic world, for peace. And we met the officials and our contacts through Vatican on Saturday in Rome. And there was a meeting in Vatican as of last night in respect to decision in collaboration, cooperation with the peace process between the 2 nations. We are bringing world leaders, religious leaders, all on the table of negotiation as one nation, one planet, one race. And we will see as it develops. As we have agreed, as of today, we go totally silent, start negotiations, and anything step by step can be taken with what I call absolute precautions, that we do not change anything. The next announcements, if we succeed to establish peace between the 2 nations or 2 sides of the Islamic world, will be done directly between and from the 2 capitals. I have spent a lot of time and will spend a lot of time to see these things through. As we've seen with the Iranian and American peace negotiation, it took 2.5 years. The gap to close here is 1400 years. As I was speaking last night to one of the leading Keshe Foundation members of the councils, is embedded, is enshrined in the culture, and we have to be very careful. You have to understand the Sunni and Shias have an embedded culture difference in respect to their belief and what they are, and are very strong in their belief, and we have to respect both sides. So we will take action in a way of, as we done before. We know how to negotiate and we know who and where to negotiate with. And as I said, our next call in respect to the Iranian peace work will be in a silence way, but surely we'll have the Israeli government and Israeli Jewish supporting lobby, because we have a very strong Iranian Jewish community. Will take part in this. We're calling for all the nations. In a way, we're making one religion out of all the religions and accepting peace. And we'll see where we go. But these are the steps we're taking. From now on, we go absolutely silent till the negotiation. If we can come to negotiation agreement, the peace process is completed. I would like to thank for those who listen in the background, who have facilitated and are facilitating different parts of negotiations in different parts of the world. And for the world leaders who have shown they would like to be part of it as a setup. Thank you very much indeed for these, all the moves which we are taking and are supporting. It takes a lot of courage for world leaders to even contemplate to closing such a gap. Nation gaps we can close, but religious gaps, especially one religion, is very hard. We've seen in Northern Ireland, where Catholics and Protestants over 300 years were at each other's throat. We understand the way it is. It's not all political, it's religious, it's understanding failure and wishes of the willing and who wants to be higher. We understand the process. We welcome the initial, the present, what I call peace process, which is hopefully conclude the Syrian war in the coming week. We are fully aware of the negotiations. We have people who continuously debrief us in the position of the negotiation. As it looks that Russian coalition with Iran will succeed in bringing peace, and the opposition in Syria will accept defeat in next 7 to 10 days in the negotiations if succeed completely. This brings, hopefully, the Saudis on the peace talks with Iran as they meet in one table, in one position and the other. The politics is a very dirty game, but on the other hand, through politics we can make a lot of friends. As I said, we will not stop. We have established a link. The Vatican is fully informed that our move. The Jewish community leaders are fully aware of what the Keshe Foundation is about to do. We are using the world religions to bring the conflict between two religions as of two sects of one religion together. The unification of religions means they all have to work together. And I thank our negotiators in Vatican. Thank you very much. You took a lot of work on. And we thank you for what you have done in past weeks. And similarly, it took a lot of courage for people in Vatican to consider such a move to become negotiator between the two Islamic sects. We'll see what will be the outcome, and we shall see how it will go. In the next few weeks, I'll be traveling in different directions, trying to negotiate between, and at the same time, we have received 100% support from world leaders to go ahead with this and support it. I hope the Keshe Foundation supporters, as you know, we have learned a new way to support ourselves by supporting through the soul of us who we are in control of, to support the soul of the world leaders to become strong. To become strong enough to be able to change. There has been a lot of moves in different directions. We don't enter politics. We are in peace negotiation terms. Technology, science against peace. And I ask all the Keshe Foundation supporters to support us through your soul, to elevate the soul of the world leaders who are involved in these negotiations. Those who are in Vatican, those who are in Jewish leadership, those from the Islamic world and the political world. This is a religious, as we call, is religion and politics together mixed up, and we're trying to negotiate on separate ways the religious side and the political side. It's not easy. It's one of the most difficult negotiations I've ever been involved in. We're trying in very hard in different directions. And I hope with your support that we reach the soul of Saudi royal family and their supporters to join us in peace, to be the flag bearer of peace. And in so many ways, we all make mistakes, but this mistake should be to the benefit of mankind. There is no mistake. We've been brought up to fight each other. We have to learn that we have to coexist with each other. As one nation, one planet. As we say in Farsi, even when you cut an apple, the two halves are never the same. Let alone two people, let alone two religions, or one religion which is divided over time. We hope the same will go with the Iranian government, that they support this peace move as we enter negotiations. We are working very silently, and as of today, decision has been made that we will not discuss anymore. We brought it to your attention because we need the support to change the soul of the world leaders. This is our work. One nation, one planet, to unite man for peace. I think we're going to have the Earth Council, the Constitution, to be read. And I think we have the Polish. Are they present?
Yes, good morning, Mr. Keshe. The Polish translation is ready to be presented anytime you like.
Could you please honor us with reading it?
Of course, let me just share my screen.
As it says, Earth Council Constitution in Chinese will be published soon. It's getting completed.
Okay, is it visible?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thank you. So this is a near final translation. We presented this on Sunday. We had 2 questions which have already been resolved. And there are 2 or 3 areas that need clarifying, and they are highlighted in yellow. You will see it throughout the document, but we're going to do another readout in a public Polish teaching today. And we will resolve these to read fluently and make sense in the Polish language as well. So this is near final version, just 2 or 3 little tweaks, and it will be ready. So here we go. My, dusze wszystkich istot połączonych z niebieską planetą Ziemią, niniejszym tworzą konstytucję niebieskiej planety Ziemi. Jeden naród, jedna planeta, jedna rasa. Konstytucja. Rada Ziemi została powołana, ażeby zagwarantować, iż poprzez nadanie równych praw wszystkim istotom, gdy nie będzie kolejnego konfliktu czy wojny na tej planecie i poza nią, wywołanej przez i pomiędzy wszystkimi istotami stworzonymi i obywatelami. Koniec wojny i ustanowienie pokoju zostanie osiągnięte poprzez zrozumienie potencjału wszystkich istot stworzonych. Droga do pokoju musi być poprzez przedstawienie zrozumienia, że rozwiązania są osiągalne poprzez dialog i elewację duszy oponenta, a nie poprzez degradację czy poniżanie jego duszy lub fizycznej egzystencji. Pokój musi być celem każdego ruchu istnienia, każdej istoty na tej planecie. Rada będzie niosła flagę tego ruchu, aby stworzyć środowisko, w którym na Ziemi można osiągnąć pokój. Pokój musi być kamieniem węgielnym istnienia wśród tych, którzy są z tej planety i lub wybierają życie na tej planecie, jak również dla tych, którzy są z Ziemi i wybiorą życie w kosmosie. Ziemia musi stać się kolebką pokoju dla ewolucji wszystkich ras. My, Rada Ziemi, uznajemy, zauważamy, że Ziemia jest częścią Układu Słonecznego, galaktyki, wszechświata i całego unikosu. Jako taka, planeta Ziemia musi stać się częścią cyklu stworzenia poprzez wspieranie planety i wszystkich istot, które na niej żyją, aby wznieść się ponad obecny cykl ewolucji do bardziej spełnionej i pokojowej egzystencji. Uznajemy Matkę Ziemię za żywą istotę, która ma własną duszę. Każdy atom, rośliny, zwierzęta, ludzie, owady, mikroby i wiele innych, i te jeszcze nieodkryte istoty są duszami, które dzielą esencję Stwórcy, a także pola planety Ziemi. Razem łączymy się, by tworzyć zbiorową duszę planety. Dostrzegamy, że wszystkie inne istoty na tej planecie muszą być wspierane, pielęgnowane i mogły rozwijać się w pokoju, wliczając zwierzęta, rośliny, ekosystemy i inne niewidoczne istoty, jak również samą Matkę Ziemię. Wszyscy wszystko będą wspierani, aby wzrastać i rozwijać się, co z kolei poprawi życie nie tylko na tej planecie, ale całości, totalności, gdyż dostrzegamy, że jesteśmy częścią całości. Wzajemna kooperacja, kolaboracja, dzielenie się i wkład w dobrobyt wszystkich powinny być podstawowym przedsięwzięciem Rady Ziemi. Naszym celem jest wspieranie tej planety jako całości i każdej istoty, która ją zamieszkuje. Będziemy służyć, aby stworzyć środowisko pielęgnacji i harmonii, w którym wszystkie istoty mogą wzrastać i rozwijać się na swój unikalny sposób. 6 członków Rady Ziemi. Każdy kontynent Ziemi, którymi są Afryka, Azja, Australia, Europa, Ameryka Północna i Ameryka Południowa, reprezentowany jest przez jednego członka Rady. Każdy członek reprezentuje potrzeby i życzenia ludzi żyjących na ich kontynencie, a także ogółu zamieszkujących go istot. Proces selekcji. Członkowie musieli mieszkać na co najmniej 2 kontynentach i mówić w co najmniej 2 językach. Pozwala to na szerszą perspektywę zrozumienia, gdy mamy do czynienia z uwzględnieniem potrzeb całej ludzkości. Jasność dusz. 6 członków Rady Ziemi jest tutaj, aby służyć ze zrozumienia własnych dusz poprzez manifestację fizyczności. Mandat Rady Ziemi, by wspierać i służyć, dostarczać i chronić. Daj naszym duszom zrozumienie, że moc, aby kierować nami samymi, jest w nas, w interakcji z innymi duszami, by tworzyć pokojowe współistnienie. Naszą intencją jest wydobyć to, co najlepsze z każdej żywej duszy na tej niebieskiej planecie, którą nazywamy Ziemią. Daj manifestacji naszej duszy fizyczności wolność życia w pokoju, miłości i zaufaniu na tej planecie i w przestrzeni kosmicznej. Nasze życzenia są dla wszystkich żywych istot w kreacji, aby bytowały w pokoju, harmonii i spokoju. Nadszedł czas na dzielenie się i zapewnienie wszystkim istotom dostępu do zasobów w sposób równy, uczciwy i sprawiedliwy. Rada Ziemi będzie służyć i wspierać, aby umożliwić wszystkim istotom wolność przynależności, wolność wypowiedzi, wolność ruchu, wolność od głodu, wolność od braku zasobów, wolność odkrywania drogi do zrozumienia własnej duszy, swoboda uczenia się, swoboda wznoszenia wkładu do społeczeństwa zgodnie z naszymi talentami i tym, w czym się spełniamy. Wolność wyboru przez naszą duszę, jak i kiedy chcemy manifestować się w fizyczności, czy też nie. Wolność od bycia czyjąś własnością. Wolność od wszelkiego stłumiania przez nowe, innowacyjne technologie i informacje do użytków pokojowych. Swoboda udostępniania, wolność myślenia, wolność do kochania i dawania. Wolność wyboru, wolność języka, wolność od systemu monetarnego, wolność od kary, brak niewoli lub egzekucji, wolność od konfliktu i wojny, wolność od strachu przed innymi, którzy odmawiają nam tych swobód. Nie będzie granic narodowych ani regionalnych, nie będzie rozróżniania między kolorami, rasami czy ścieżkami wierzeń, żadnych kulturowych uprzedzeń ani barier monetarnych, które dzielą ludzi lub dają nieuczciwą przewagę jednym nad drugimi. Nie będzie dziedzicznych tytułów ani odziedziczonych ról przywódczych, które obejmują władzę królewską, dyktaturę rodzinną lub królewskość jakiegokolwiek tytułu. Nie będzie obawy przed karą za jakiekolwiek przestępstwo. Wzniesienie, elewacja dusz tych, którzy czynią zło, pozwoli na zniesienie wszelkich form więzienia i kary śmierci. Poprzez edukację i dzielenie się wiedzą na poziomie duszy, wszystkie istoty będą same siebie elewować. Kara nie ma miejsca na poziomie duszy w zrozumieniu jej własnej siły i pola. Nie ma potrzeby dla systemu monetarnego, który bazuje na wymianie towar i usług za pracę. Tworzymy środowisko, w którym pieniądze nie mają miejsca w społeczeństwie. Kiedy wszystkie fizyczne potrzeby wszystkich istot zostaną zaspokojone, będziemy pracować, aby przynieść przyjemność innym i nam samym. Koniec systemu monetarnego przyniesie erę zdrowych ludzi i prawdziwej miłości między wszystkimi na tej niebieskiej planecie Ziemi. Praca powinna być dla czystej radości lub przyjemności służenia innym i elewowania duszy innych, tak samo jak i swojej. Wszyscy ci, którzy chcą służyć jako decydenci i przewodnicy, mogą zaoferować, aby służyć w swoim zrozumieniu duszy, uzyskawszy zgodę innych, aby wykonywać wymaganą rolę. Elewacja zrozumienia pozwoli nam dostrzec wyjątkowe siły pól duszy, które pozwolą im służyć dla dobra innych i elewacji całej ludzkości. Ci ludzie będą służyć, aby oświecać i inspirować elewację w innych. Przywództwo pochodzi od duszy człowieka i zgody innych na służbę. Szanujemy wszystkie kształty i formy wszystkich istot na tej niebieskiej planecie Ziemi i poza nią. Każda istota na świecie otrzyma takie same swobody, którymi są wolność życia w pokoju ze wszystkimi innymi w środowisku wzajemnej godności i szacunku. Wszyscy będą mieli wolność wyboru, aby żyć w sposób, w jaki pragną, tak długo, jak długo wyrażają troskę i szacunek dla innych. Wszystkie istoty na tej planecie powinny być wspierane, aby mogły żyć bez niedostatku. Podstawowy dostęp do schronienia, wody, żywności, bezpieczeństwa, materiałów i swobody używania pola energetycznego, ziemi lub innych zasobów uniwersalnych powinien być priorytetem, a także pokój i stabilność, aby umożliwić dobre samopoczucie emocjonalne i dążenie do oświecenia. Wszelka różnorodność jest uznawana za wyjątkową i różnorodną ekspresję Stwórcy i zostanie przyjęta i celebrowana jako wzbogacająca nasze życie. Każda istota powinna być wspierana i zachęcana do zdobywania wiedzy. W szczególności ludzkość potrzebuje wolności do odkrywania i zrozumienia tej wiedzy, którą można posiąść tylko bez potrzeby ciągłej pracy w celu przetrwania. Tworzenie narzędzi, aby stać się niezależnymi, odpowiedzialnymi za samych siebie ludźmi, musi być priorytetem. Dusza istot będzie dyktować i zarządzać poprzez odpowiedzialny, sprawiedliwy, poprawny, uczciwy sposób życia dla korzyści całego stworzenia w równy sposób. Po raz pierwszy w historii człowieka z wolną wolą na poziomie duszy nauka rozpocznie się od poznawania dusz już od niemowlaka. Kiedy pojawiają się klęski żywiołowe, musimy bez faworyzacji przyjść z pomocą wszystkim istotom w tym rejonie, wspierając wszystkich. Obejmuje to zrozumienie ekosystemu planety i tego, czego wszystkie istoty potrzebują w swoim cyklu życia. Wszystkie istoty będą miały dostęp i będą dzieliły zasoby w czasie obfitości i w czasie katastrofy. Kiedy pojawia się konflikt, musimy wynegocjować pokojowe rozwiązanie dla wszystkich stron. Cała ludzkość musi otrzymać długotrwały pokój. Jest to możliwe tylko wtedy, gdy potrzeby wszystkich stron są brane pod uwagę. Wszystkie istoty zasługują na ochronę przed uszczerbkiem na ich fizyczności i emocji. Proces podejmowania decyzji. Żadna większość nie naruszy swobód żadnej mniejszości. Konsensus zostanie osiągnięty poprzez dialog i elewację duszy człowieka. Każda decyzja musi być korzystna dla wszystkich. Każda istota będzie szanowana, traktowana sprawiedliwie i równa pod każdym względem. Dusze istot będą kierować każdym poczynaniem w sposób pokojowy. Sprowadzanie pokoju na planetę i wszystkich, którzy tu mieszkają, musi być zawsze naszym celem. Zaspokajanie potrzeb wszystkich jest jedyną drogą do osiągnięcia tego. Zaproszenie. Przyjdźcie wszyscy od najmniejszych do największych istot stworzenia, aby świętować, smakować i objąć pokój, miłość, zaufanie i wolność. Wszystkie istoty są tutaj, aby wznieść najwyższy poziom ludzkości i wszystkich świadomości. Elewacja dusz. Wszystkie dusze, odłóżcie na bok wszelkie narzędzia agresji, nienawiści i różnice. Niech zapanuje pokój i spokój, cisza na tej niebieskiej planecie, którą nazywamy Ziemią. Wszystkie żywe istoty będą żyć w harmonii ze wszystkimi kreacjami na tej niebieskiej planecie, którą nazywamy Ziemią i z całym wszechświatem. Przewodnie zasady fizycznego postępowania są odpowiednie aż do czasu, gdy dusze ludzi zrozumieją ich działanie i pozycję wewnątrz ram zasad uniwersalnych. Dusza zasługuje na poznanie wszystkiego na różnych poziomach kreacji. Wszystkie żywe dusze mają wolność równości, aby żyć w pokoju i prosperować tutaj na ziemi i poza nią. Dusze wszystkich istot wydobędą swoje najlepsze talenty, mocne strony i piękno, aby dzielić się i rozkwitać na przestrzeni całej kreacji. Odzyskaj władzę dusz rządzących wszystkimi żywymi istotami tutaj na ziemi. Władza przywódców i innych bytów nie jest po to, by kontrolować lub dominować innych, ale pochodzi z nas, aby kochać i dawać pokój, miłość, szczęście i wolność innym. Ta ziemska konstytucja zawiera najlepszą intencję pokoju, miłości, zaufania i wolności dusz wszystkich żywych istot, w tym innych istot na przestrzeni kreacji i stworzenia. Ta konstytucja ma wzmocnić, dodać siły wszystkim istotom, aby postępowały prawidłowo z przyjemnością pracowały i służyły wraz z innymi duszami, aby ujrzeć piękno w kreacji. Konstytucja ta jest płynna i może być przystosowana w każdej chwili, gdy zajdzie taka potrzeba. Na przykład w kwestiach zachowania człowieka w celu pokojowego współistnienia, traktatów pokojowych między człowiekiem a człowiekiem, bez wojen i lub jakichkolwiek form agresji na tej niebieskiej planecie, którą nazywamy Ziemią, i kontaktu z innymi istotami z różnych obszarów wszechświata. Konstytucja niebieskiej planety Ziemi będzie uaktualniana w styczniu każdego roku. Uzupełnienie. Ta sekcja pozostawiona jest pusta w razie potrzeby wprowadzania w przyszłości dodatkowych poprawek, aby utrzymać stały pokój na tej niebieskiej planecie Ziemi i poza nią. Napisane przez dusze ludzi niebieskiej planety, reprezentowane przez członków Rady Ziemi. Tutaj mamy wypisanych 6 członków Rady Ziemi. E-mail kontaktowy to peace@theearthcouncil.org. And that's about it. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to read it in my native language. And I want to thank all Earth Council members for this beautiful constitution. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time in translating it and being able to share it with us in the language of the soul of your nation. Are there any comments from anyone regarding the Earth Council and the Constitution? Pardon?
We do have Fred Enrique has told me that the French version is ready now too, and they're going to read it in the French teaching this evening.
It will be done next week, next Thursday, if they will present it, please. That'll be very nice. We need a French member of the Universal Council, as the present Universal Council member has stepped down as of last week. Anyone who has the support of their souls to take position. The members of the Earth Council are solid in the way they've been selected in a different way. The Universal Council is the choice of the soul of the man who can serve humanity. And 3 or 4 members of the Universal Council, they see, as we say, in time, they are short, or in part of the ethos of what they would like to do in different ways. And they have stepped down, and this opens the situation now for the French-speaking. Anyone who sees that they can be, through their soul, the supporter of the French-speaking, you're quite welcome to apply for, and then we'll see what takes place in respect to what happens in the background and the selection. One of the most important things that has to be said is that the Earth Council has made the decision. As we see people sending different requests or different points to be added to the Constitution, and the Earth Council has decided that they gather all the changes requested and what needs to be done, and according to the wishes of the Council, every December the total package will be considered and will be added to the following year Constitution. So we don't need to change the Constitution constantly and continuously. So as you put your requests and the wishes, and if they are in line with the requests and wishes of the members of the Earth Council, they'll be put in the file or in the Constitution in the background, and will be released every December once a year, so that it becomes applicable from the following January, that we always have a solid Constitution, and we know there is an update, as this is made by the people, for the people, in how they want, and they see to be what we call supported in keeping one nation, one planet together. Members of the Earth Council have a totally different obligations, and they work different way than the Universal Council members. The members of the Earth Council are directly brought into understanding of the financial affairs and pattern that the factories, the support teams, the other things in the foundation has run, that they understand how they can use and utilize the things which are available to them. In the teachings of the past few weeks, as we said, we are more and more going into further understanding, and there'll be more and more what I call approach, new ways that we need to add to the knowledge of man. A lot of you were happy, as I said before many times, with Ganses and nano coating, and we stepped up into understanding the work of the soul of the man, that we are responsible for its operation. It's us who is in charge and in control, and it's us that now I have to understand that we possess two lines of living, one the physical, and one through the connection of our emotions, through the physical soul of the body of the man, through the soul of the man, which is the creator of the man. This separation has been kept by different, what I call path of belief, separate, that it was a mystery to understand, and to understand it, to be able to create a connection with it, man has created different path of belief. Now man understand he is the path of belief itself, and he is the one who decides on the structure of the physicality and connection with other souls. Last week I was with Caroline somewhere, and we saw a very beautiful t-shirt. It says, I was what do you call it, atheist, till I found I am the God. Which means we could not even believe in God till we found out we are the creator of the conditions and the positions of ourselves. In so many ways, we have to understand more about the other part of our life we have, which has been closed to us, and we in so many ways been denied access to it by ourselves. We can't blame anybody, because then we go in the blame path of this and that. In a way, we were not mature enough to see the path ourselves, to see that we are the totality. But we always ignored the other part, which is what I call the lover part of being. A soul is a giver to create manifestation of its physicality through giving from itself. And in so many ways, if human race could have understood, the word love comes from the existence of the soul of the man. The soul of the man is a giver, and in interaction with what gives to its environment, it creates, manifests the physicality of the man. I do not know any better lover than the soul of the man. We have to learn, we have to understand the one we've been in love with, and the lover which has led to our creation. Does not expect, but it gives unconditionally, and we put condition and restriction on it. How we would like to look, how we would like to smell, how we would like our soul to manifest itself, what color of eye, what color of hair, what color of skin. And why do we choose these colors? Why do we choose these path of understanding? Why do we put intellect value on our souls, that somebody is so clever and somebody does not understand? Where the soul of every man is the same and radio is the same. So in understanding and the evolution of the soul of the man, we are all the same. But this brings us to a very fundamental question. Keshe Foundation is a space-based technology. So we are teaching a new space way. If you look at the organizations like NASA, Iranian Space Agency, or Russian Space Agency, or Chinese Space Agency, they become selective. They select very few. They train to go to space. They spend years in training, in selecting. If you look at the selective position with any of the astronauts or cosmonauts, they go through rigorous testing, evaluating their education, evaluating their consciousness, evaluating their every possible thing in their physical life. And then they start training them for 7 years, 10 years, for them to become astronauts, to go to a space and perform a given restricted act. For doing something for 10 minutes, they replay and replay and repeat the same thing outside, in their brain, in the water tanks, in every shape or form, that when they deliver the act is absolutely perfect, that they don't lose their spanner into a space if they are changing outside something. If we train so much to get one physicality into space, to change one panel, and it takes years of training, now you can imagine how long it will take us to train the man to use, to understand, to train his soul, for him to understand his soul. The training will not come over days. We have to understand the operation of the soul of the man. We have to understand how our physicality and emotion interacts with the source of our existence. That's what the soul is the essence, is the mother, is the seed of the creation of us. We have never understood. If it takes us 10 years to be selective and being trained to handle one change of one panel by one man, how long would it take us to be able to train ourselves how to handle our soul? It's not an easy job. It's not at all, because up to now we blamed it and we left it to the men of religion, trying to confine, to control, for us to have alert points by punishment. Now there is no punishment. We have to be alert. We have to be fully alert in what we allow our physicality show in respect to our soul, to the essence of our creation. What this brings us to is very fundamental, because now a lot of things we know has to come into operation. A lot of things we thought we know has come into operation. A lot of understanding which was there now needs connection lines, and we say, we knew, we know, we have the power, we understand it. We are used to physical transportation of our body through cars, a donkey, a bike. Now we have to learn the transportation of our body, our physicality, through the soul of the man. And this is a huge change for those who are not going to training schools. When you want to drive, they send you to driving school. When you want to become astronaut, they send you into the pools and everything else. But now we have to train our souls, ourselves, in how we can use our essence of creation to create motion and manifestation for ourselves. Many of you will walk away from the foundation because you will not be able to understand the work of your soul, because it needs a lot of sincerity. It needs a lot of direct openness of oneself with itself. If I take a nail varnish, it's me who decides what color I'm going to put on this nail. It's me who decides which part of the nail in what color I'm going to paint. Now we have to understand our emotion is that brush. Our soul is the nail, and it's us who decides how to brush it and how beautiful this nail varnish will show. And our nail, that it shows the beauty of the nail, which itself shows the beauty of the finger, and then the beauty of the woman. This is what we have to understand. This is us who's responsible now to learn about the new way of transportation with the fuel which is already creator of us. That's what it means when we start the teaching of the soul. This is why we brought it so close, that now you have a maggraph system, which is the body of the man, full of energies that for the first time we call it in the state of Gans, that we can manipulate. It cannot do wrong if we understand the totality of the work of the essence of the creation of the man. There is one point we have to understand. As you saw in the introduction video, when you have the nano layers created out of the mass of the body of the copper, each nano is connected. All those dots you see is you, your soul, with the soul next to you, and connected to other souls further up from you. When you see those nano dot layers in the introduction video, replace those dots with the soul of the man. You see how you gap, you see how you interact. This is what our soul is a collection of fields which stands on its own. It dictates its position in regard to its atmosphere, to its condition in the environment which is it is. Now we have to go a step further. As I said, we always looked as a means of transportation into cars, into donkey, into bicycle, in the present time, into jetliners, and we look at into a spaceship. But we have to learn how we used to go to the shop and buy a pair of jeans or a jacket to cover this body. Now we understand that it's us who decides the process of new travel in the space, in the dimensions of the creator, and how we dress it, how we manifest it. If you go back to the teaching of last week and many other teachings we've done, and a paper which I've written, it calls ILS is a death wish which comes true. So if we wish it, we wish to die, we wish to separate the soul of the physicality from the soul of the totality of the existence, the creation of life of the man, we have that power. It's been embedded and is so strong for those who find it that they can do it. Now, the process of the use of the essence of the creation, which is soul of the man, for transportation, is not to terminate a life, but to reunite the essence of the soul of physicality with the essence of the soul of the creation of the physicality, which what we call the soul of the man. In the presentation last week, when we saw the magnets, and when we put the magnet inside a bigger magnet, this was a manifestation of the physical soul of the man, that it could enter and be within the soul of the man, and then choosing the space and dimension. This does not mean death. This does not mean end of a life of a soul, but this means the collaboration and understanding more between the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man. It's a new technique we have to learn. You all know what to do. It's just that you could never connect it to do it. Many of you made the Ganses. Go back to the very original teachings as I refer to. You have seen when you put Ganses together, they start creation of motion and spacing in how they want to rotate. Now understand the body of the man, the physical body of the man, is the Ganses which they rotate within the center, which is the soul of the man. Now you can gather the essence of the physicality of the man, which is the Ganses rotating, and take it as a field within the center. Then you can release it, which means when you are used to now as we have taught, the emotion affects the fields which they come from the soul, that it shows itself, manifests itself as the physicality of the presentation of the soul of the physicality, which is tear, crying, laughter, joy, pain. When you take the physicality of the man, the soul of physicality of man, and you take it inside the soul of the man, nothing changes. The physical soul of the man in interaction within the soul of the man will still feel all the feelings which you carried externally. There is no need for determination, but becomes now working within, inside each other. But instead of physicality out, the soul stays as a protector of the physicality, physical soul of the body of the man, till the soul of the man finds the position where the physical essence of the soul of the physicality wants to find and finds a new environment which the soul confirms to him is a peaceful. You can try. We are used to always having the soul within us and manifesting ourselves in the essence of the physicality. Now, to travel the depth of the space, you need to protect the soul of physicality. And that is, now, with the knowledge we have, with understanding of the correctness of the soul, we can take the soul of the physicality to be within the soul of the man. That is protected in the time of travel. Then, traveling the dimensions of the universe become timeless, effortless. In a present scientific world, we call it zero-time transportation. But the question is, how do we do this? How come when we wish to die in an instant, we manage to give a command to interfere with the fields of the soul of the man, that it gave the instruction to the physical communication line, which we call the brain of the man, to start the process of separation of the two. We want to divorce the two souls. Now we have to learn, and we have to be educated, and we have to practice that we do not destroy or separate, but we rejoin, we unify, we rebalance the soul of the physicality in a way that it can enter, within the soul of the man. Which means it becomes the center itself. It's literally like a jacket two-sided. You reverse it inside out. Where now the soul becomes the protector of the physicality, where at the present life of the man, the physicality of the man is a protector of the soul, which we put brain around it, we put the skull around it, we feed it with the physicality of the man to exist. If we could go in the path of intention to end the life, through ILS, through the wish to separate the soul, then we know a path that we can use to enter the soul of the man and reside in it, till the time comes when we want to manifest ourselves. Many of you made many reactors, dynamic, you made different cores. You always observe the physicality where I told you, observe the fields. To become the passenger of the space without a spaceship, to travel with the strength of the soul of the man, now you have to do the same. But the difference this time is that You have to be able to transform, to have control over all souls of totality of the physicality of the man that you can summon, that they go to a higher order, that now that the soul of the man becomes of the lower, that the soul of the physicality takes center in the center of the soul of the man. For many of you, this is very hard to understand. But many of those of you who are not highly educated and you have worked through the ethos of yin and yang, balance between the physicality and the soul, will achieve this very rapidly. Those of you who were connected to the punishment of the physicality will have a harsh time with this. Those of you who are of Chinese background, who believe and understand the operation of the soul and the physicality in the language of Chinese being transferred to yin and yang, will walk through this. Because you only need to understand how what you already knew to put into practice. This is the hardest part, because now the physicality, the way you interacted with the soul through the emotion, now become the soul, the physical part of the manifestation in the no dimension bandwidth of the energies of the universe. Then the space travel, the color of the change of the eye, the height, the change of the hair, the change of the presentation manifestation becomes child's play. You need this, as when you enter into space, unless you always want to wear a spacesuit and not to be free, then you need to learn. You need to practice. As I said, when you become astronaut, you practice for 7 years. But you can practice for 7 days, understand the true essence of the creation of your physical life, and become the man of space, to travel through the strength of the soul of the man. Then, as we say, the universe is your oyster. There is no limitation in how you manifest yourself, and there is no limitation in where to manifest yourself. Remember one point. We teach for the spectrum of creations across the universe. Some of the man will achieve this today in a short to come, and some of the men will struggle for a long time because they never understood the truth about their own creation. And at the same time, those who are in the deep space, or those who are in the deep space who are with us, who've been looking for understanding of knowledge, they've been enlightened to take the next step. Many, many times in the recent past, as man's technological knowledge and expertise becomes more and more profound, and to be able to look at the deeper and wider spectrum of life, we call it different ways of detection, by cameras or whatever, by field detectors, we have observed lives will change, and out of nowhere it changes back. We see manifestation of physicality observed out of nowhere. These are the creatures who have managed to do what I have just taught. What this means? It means these creatures of Creator have managed to understand how to enter into the dimension of the soul and use the soul as protection, and then re-manifest themselves in the dimension of physicality of the space, of in the dimension they want to manifest themselves. It's a flick of a finger. Much faster than a flick of a finger. But you can teach yourself. How do we do this? It comes through the purity of understanding of giving. Because now you have to give so much from the soul of physicality that the soul of the man becomes the lover of his soul, of which he created. In so many ways, the soul of the man is the Adam. And the soul of the physicality of the man is Eve. By giving so much, the Eve becomes part of the Adam, but stays still as Eve itself. That it can give so much love by giving that it is taken in, confirming the weakness, confirming the higher strength of the Eve within the Adam. That Adam protects. We call it in the English language sacrifice, but there is no sacrifice. You do what you like. I'm there to give. I have fed you, and in time you want, I protect you. In so many ways, the soul of the man always stays the protector of the man. In physicality within, and in the dimension of the soul of the physicality within itself. In so many ways, we have to learn how to summon the soul of the physicalities. And this needs practice. All of you can do. Every man who becomes sincere to himself and nobody else, you do not need to prove to nothing and no one except yourself, then as long as you do not harm no one by manifesting yourself in any dimension, even on this planet, you can change yourself. We have done this by changing color, changing the color of our skin, changing the color of our eyes, our hair, as we have moved across this planet, as I explained in the previous teaching. Now, we have to go through what you call the evolution, and change the word evolution to understanding of the condition of the position. It's taken us 1 million years to evolve according to what we wanted, and our physicality through the operation of our soul has changed it to allow us to survive. Now, if you understand, we can do this evolution instantaneously. We can evolve. We have a sanctuary called the soul of the man, that when we feel the condition is okay and is what we want to be, we can manifest ourselves. In a way, our soul continuously uses us as the lover that can love unconditionally, be it manifested up in a physical matter or being within the soul itself. How can we expand? How can we understand? And how can we go to the step, to the next step of change? Has taken millions of years, and it takes an astronaut 7 to 10 years to learn to change his manner. But unfortunately, the body of the man has got billions of spanners we have to learn how to work with. Or we understand the common denominator between all the cells of the man that we can summon, and we can arrange the way the man with ILS arranged his separation. We arrange a path to the soul of the man, and then we evolve. Then we expand. Then we understand how we can transmute. We can, in so many ways, travel the depth of the space on this planet and still be the same, of the same feeling and the same understanding. This is going to be very hard for many of you. We have seen a lot of people having problem with the resurrection, which we talked last week, because this was not in their book. This is not what they thought it'll be, because it was the magic they're waiting for, and now the magic is them. They are the creator of magic, and this is what we got to learn. But how do you do it? How do you manage to be able to transfer the physicality in one part or in totality, to bring it within the soul of the man, and then manifest itself at a point of desire? One thing you got to remember, and that is, we created the physicality of ourselves. What are we afraid of? To do it again? But last time it was left to the affairs of environment of the planet. This time we do it with the full control of ourselves. This time we decide on how then the environment of the womb of the mother, or the condition of the atmosphere, or the position of the planet to decide. This time we are in charge. But don't forget what I said very earlier on. We use the emotion to separate the soul of the man from the soul of physicality of the man. Now, we should do the same. The desire to live, the desire to be part of the soul has to be so strong, and we learn how to do it, that we can jump in and jump out. We can join in and join out. We can create and become the creator, or to be created out of the wish of the balance between the souls of the physicality and the soul of the man. Try it. If the desire is so deep to be with your lover, to give to the lover, that you become the lover than being loved, you will achieve it. This is the key to the transition. This is why from the beginning I always explained giving as loving. Not one loving thyself, but one loving the lover, that truly we give unconditionally to our soul, that allows us to have a higher strength, that we become the center of the soul. Is very much like loving. You walk on the street, live a normal life. You see a man or a woman, you fall in love. And then the life of that man or a woman becomes the center of your life. Anything for him or her. Now, it's the same operation. For a conversion of the physicality, the soul of the physical part of the body of the man, to become the center of the soul of the man. In so many ways, we have to become very good lovers. But not lovers just to gain something to prove. The true lovers that we are there to give unconditionally, that the soul decides in respect to the emotion of the soul of physicality, where and how to manifest itself. In so many ways, it's like a taxi and a man walking in the street. When you go in the taxi becomes the carrier of you while you were outside in respect to the taxi. You're still in, and it carries your emotion and your wish to take you to a destination. To the destination which you want. Do you ever get off a taxi when it takes you to the wrong address? Or do you get off the taxi in a hurry when you know your lover is waiting for you inside? Now you understand why I've been teaching this way. That's why there is no more punishment in the new cycle. As a lover never harms, we become lover of our soul, and with it, the soul is always balanced in respect to the others. That in that respect, it does not take what does not belong to it. Then there is no need for writing new books and new orders, because the lover always respects the loved one. And it gives unconditionally to become part of. And I keep on saying, how do we do it? It's the story of banana and peeling the banana. The more you peel, the more manifests itself of the higher strength. In so many ways, in so many ways, we have to become to know how much we love our soul, how much we love our own existence. In so many ways, we have to become to understand the power of our existence in a physical dimension. Because we have always ignored it. And ignoring it, others in the name of religion have taken advantage of our ignorance. A couple of weeks ago, I saw a picture of a president. And I knew it's a cause of a lot of problems for a lot of souls. And I said, I wish your soul elevates, that the other souls find their freedom. And strange enough, he resigned in the past 24 hours. I didn't put it as coincidental. I put it as a correct wish to elevate his soul. Now, we have to understand, we have a lot of powers. In my capacity, I can change through my wish many things, as we have started doing. But, in so many ways, all of you can have that wish. Now, the wish is the strength of the soul of your physicality. Now play the game. If you have managed to reach another soul, to elevate it, through your wish, through the energy of the soul of yourself, now start learning how to bring all these fields together, that you can enter the realm of the soul of the man, which is yourself. Then you'll find out you can travel the spans of universe in no time. We always saw death and separation as the ultimate position. But if we start learning that amalgamation is the new way, than destruction, to join in to become one is more important and more powerful than splitting not to have none, then you understand there will be no wars, not even in the physical dimension of the nations, and not even within the physicality of the man. And I keep on saying, how do we do it? It's as easy as thinking about it. You summon to the strength of the soul. For the soul of the physicality is to find a new balance. That with it, you can be part of internal existence of yourself. It means you go through your emotion and through the emotion you create what we said before in many of the teachings. Stronger plasma gives to the weaker, that it elevates it to the level of itself. And if the totality of what is given and internal fields are higher, it absorbs it to itself. But as the soul of the man has no barriers, he'll bring it to be embedded inside itself. Understand the past 5 sentences. You have found the path to the truth, to the how to enter and be able to travel into the space through the strength of your own soul. Many souls travel within the spaceships or aircraft or crafts as you call it, and then at given point they decide to use their soul and the manifestation of the entity within them, which we call the soul of the physicality. At that point, to manifest themselves as an entity of that location and that point. So it needs a lot of learning. It needs a lot of confidence that I can do it, and any of you can achieve it. Because in the space is not selective, but it's the one who knows how to do it. It's not this man can do, the other cannot. We all can. But we have to have a trust that we are of higher elevation, higher value, higher strength, that being higher, the soul of the man allows the, what I call transmutation, to become inside out, to allow itself to become weaker, to transmute to a lower level that allows the higher level, which is the physicality, the soul of the man, to become the center. You made the course. You made the Ganses. Now find a connection to the path, to the soul of your physicality, that you can transform it to become a higher level lover, that the soul of the man becomes the cloth of the physicality, the soul of physicality. And you all understand. The soul gives to bring the other soul to the level of itself. But if the other soul is a higher giver, now moves in the center, that it becomes to give from inside. Transmutation of the field, as I've said in the other teachings, is the key to understanding the world of creation, not the transmutation of elements. And these teachings and all the teachings we've done in the past few weeks is the transmutation of the field, where you can then transmute to the field strength of the manifestation as you never change into the matter state. This goes back to the medical teaching and the health teachings, where we always say, even in the space teaching, the interaction of the three fields of the plasma gives the manifestation of the physicality of the man. Be it the skin has 3 layers, the stomach lining has 3 layers, the eye has 3 layers, everything, because it needs 3 dynamic fields of the magnetic, in a plasmatic condition you call it, to create the manifestation. One field comes from soul of the man. One field comes from the soul of the destination. And one field comes from the soul of the physicality. Then manifests itself in the physicality of the man. Physicality in the universe is nothing but illusion of detection. Even a stone. Even a stone. Then you have to understand and teach yourself the way you made the magnet coils, the way you made the coils. Now, do we have to do a blueprint how to transform yourself to become part of your souls, to be able to travel the depth of the universe? I wonder how many of you will turn up for the blueprint. I promise you, very few. The rest of you will be scared. Or you might turn up for a magic show that you'll find out you become part of the magic yourself, because then you get the key into become yourself in the dimension of the fields and not in the dimension of the physicality of observation and the given strength. Now you understand where the teaching is going. Now you understand the true space technology in the true essence of it will come into operation. In so many ways, slowly, slowly, you are given choice. Walk it, donkey it, bicycle it, car it, jumbo jet it, astronaut it, UFO it, or soul it. The options are increasing. And unfortunately for this, there are no instructors. There is nobody there to teach you how to get on the horse. And there is nobody there to teach you where is the clutch and the brake. You have to test. And this is the test of the soul of the man and nothing else. Nobody can tell you you're going too far, you can stop. My wish is my command. which means my wish is the connection between my soul and my physical soul. How do you do it? Try to test your own transportation of the strength of the soul of the physicality. Do not forget that it has to be done collectively. Do not forget, if you go back into one of the teachings a few weeks ago, a few months ago, I brought this in a very subtle way, that at the moment they strap you to a cable. When you go, they call it the spacewalk. How confident are you that you'll survive with the new understanding if you yourself, with the cutter you're given, you cut that cord? The connection between the space lab or a space system and your own physicality, and have enough confidence that I will survive anywhere in the universe. Before my physical life changes to the condition of its environment, as you say, to freezes, I transform in that time that I live outside the suit of the man. It's you who has to decide, do I have enough confidence in the operation of my soul that I can call the umbilical call of physicality? Unfortunately, Keshe Foundation in its factories has no machinery for this. And there is no system we can give you. It's you who has to test this. It's you who has to understand how sincere lover are you. It's you who has to decide, am I the lover who gives, or am I the lover who gives to expect to receive something, and at that point you will not achieve it. You made a core, you tested. Now test the core of the essence of the creation of your soul. Any questions?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, it's Rui speaking, Portuguese UC member. And good morning everyone. My question is, why the need to understand that when we are in the physical body, and if you have that understanding when we leave the physical body, if you have this kind of capacity?
It's a choice which our soul has made at the point of inception. It's the choice of our soul, how to manifest itself. And, or if it wants to go through this transition of physicality and how we want to change it ourselves. Now we have the choice. Now we can decide everything if we understand the process. Years ago, I was in Kinshasa, and I was with the person who was running our businesses in Kinshasa, and she said to me, I have to go and see somebody. I said, okay, I'll wait in the car. He says, I'm not going in, I just have a quick chat. And she knocked on the door. A few children appeared, young ones, 3, 4, 5 years, 2, 3, 4 years. And they stuck their heads out, or they came through the gap which mom opened up to answer the door. 2 or 3 of them were black in skin color. And one was white skin with blue eyes. When the lady came in the car, I said to her, "Is a white man lives here?" She said, "No, it's her child." I said, "But how come he's white?" She said, "We have many of these in Africa. When the white man came and took a black woman as a wife or whatever as a slave, the children could be half caste, and then they all changed by marrying again into black, as black. And somewhere down the line, suddenly a white child gets born, totally white. And this was very surprising for me in that time, that how is this possible? But now I understand in a very clear way why a child is born in white out of a black mother and a black father. And what is the reason of a manifestation this way? You call it genetic, but what's the purpose of a soul to do this to itself? And it explained a lot of things. How other souls have decided that there is a time or a position for a soul at a given strength to appear or be developed, that becomes what we see. So the soul have decided in so many ways the combination and the decision of the manifestation. Now, if you understand this, if the soul who appeared itself as a white desires enough to be like the others, it can change into black. We see this with many blacks who have, or the white who have different color tone, white patches and black skin, or vice versa. Go back into the desire and ask, what was your desire? Why do we have so many black, especially in Europe, with this complex of 2 skin tone colors as the soul, and the pain which the soul has gone through? Somebody called them a nigger or a black man or whatever, that they saw themselves because of the color of the skin inferior. The same as the man who wished to die in ILS. The pain and desire not to go through the pain has been so much that they feel the strength has started the creation of the evolution of the color of the skin of the man. A lot of biologists try to explain it. This is what happens. But if you understand every cell has a soul, then you understand the truth for the first time. If the desire of the man has shown that the body color can change, so the desire of man, these souls have understood the step towards evolution of the working of the soul in the dimension of physicality and the soul of the man. So it's easy. we have already known, as I said by the time before, we all have been making nano ganses since we start discovering the fire. The fire nano gas technology has been with us from the first time when the man put the first meat on the barbecue in the fire in the jungle, but never understood what it does. It just transformed the energy of the meat into a nano layer, and it was space open gaps itself through the heat, and you call it the meat tenderized, which means we have started understanding conversion of energy that creates a space gap, what we call gravitational magnetic field gap spacing. And then if you can add the whole lot and you can control it through the emotion, then you can convert. As you know, many times I have said about, and we have the videos of this girl who wanted to be a harpist, and in one generation she has changed the whole feature of herself through the desire. Now we have to learn, we become master in it, how to do it instantaneously. I tell you one thing, this is why we said there shall be no punishment. Because once the man learns this, I wonder whose fingerprint are we going to find that we can convict somebody by fingerprint. That is why you teach the soul through the new understanding that there is no punishment. By elevation, you don't need to worry if it's the real fingerprint, as the guy has learned how to work between the soul of the physicality and the soul of the man, and has changed his manifestation and his fingerprint. This is how fundamental this technology and understanding of the new knowledge will be. And this is why we said there shall be no punishment. Has to be the elevation of the soul. You understand more and more the whole process of the structure of the Universal Council and the Earth Council constitute and ethos. If you go to that step, how do we say, excuse me, do you have a passport for your soul that it can come to United States? Or you can come to China? Or as one nation, we don't need a passport. And this is the solution we put forward. As you look as one nation, one planet, what we are teaching has no borders. It's already become one nation, one planet. In so many ways, it's just one planet. What is a nation? It's the oneness of mankind. But now, man is so kind to himself that he allows the transformation of one soul to physicality, and from physicality back to the soul. Try to understand exactly what is to come. And try to understand, is you who come to it. From now on, the confidence you gain in making ganses, in making nanomaterials, in making cores, those who went through that process will come to the point of conversion much faster than those who have sat around and could not do it, because they have learned this and that changes this or that. We expect things to change through others for us, but we haven't gained confidence that it's us who's going to change the things for us that make life better for the others. And this is the problem for many, many of you. This transition time, this what I thought today is the beginning of the change. Now start working on how you can transform your physicality through the soul of your physical existence to become the center lover of your soul, and then try to manifest yourself. I'll give you a challenge. I wonder how soon the White House, the Buckingham Palace, the Court of French President, the office of the world presidents will announce that intruders, they have found people within their premises. You wish to manifest yourself in front of the president to show your power, you become God and tell him, sign the peace treaty. This is what your capability has to be. This is what these teachings are heading for. Or shall we see the president who listens and understands will manifest itself in the soul of himself and announces that there will be a peaceful world. Any other question?
Good morning, Mr. Keshe.
Good morning, Adar.
Are you well, Mr. Keshe?
I'm always well.
Okay, good. Good to hear that. That was amazing. My mouth was getting watery as you were speaking. So I have
What, you're changing to transfer yourself and to understand the work of your soul or the soul of your physicality?
Yes.
There's no use having your mouth watering if you don't taste it, huh?
Yes, I know. I have a question. I understood that I didn't understand last time when I asked a question, but one question, I have a couple of questions, but one thing is, when you talk about the dinosaurs, that when they got they got extinction, my question is, if the dinosaur understood at that point, and they released a certain field from their soul, they could have kept the balance and the state. Yes.
Yes, but they wouldn't be that size because the environment of the atmosphere position in the solar system does not allow these kind of size animals.
Yeah,
If we were still in the same position in our solar system as when the dinosaurs were here, we still could have created dinosaurs in the same size and height.
okay. So now when we talk about when we take a step,
Let me just to explain to you one thing, sorry, Ozajan. If you look at the size of the gaseous planet and the size of their atmosphere, and if you look at the size of planets like Earth and Venus, you understand as you closer, you become closer to the center, as you get pulled into the center, which is the soul, the sun, the size of the atmosphere changes. These giant planets we see they don't have such a big core inside. It's the size of the atmosphere which gives them this size. So in Jupiter or in Saturn, if you create the condition of life, you'll find animals much bigger than the dinosaurs. And the same when you go to Venus, there is still life in Venus, but it's underground, on the surface, and over it because of the non-physicality of life, which man has not even understood. So they become smaller to be able to survive the change of the physical environmental pressures. So you still can have dinosaurs on this planet if you push the Earth back a few million kilometers towards where it came from.
okay. So I understood this. Thank you. The next question is, when if I look at the sperm, The sperm has its own field.
What do you mean by spell?
A sperm and egg. When the sperm,
Oh, sperm, yeah.
so a sperm from the father has its own field, magnetic field. So the egg has its own from the mother. So when they come together, they make the zygote, which is its own field. In a woman mother has a relationship with the field of the earth. And then we have the soul of the physicality of the zygote in respect to the gravitational magnetic field of the earth that is related to the mother womb. And then we have the soul that comes in. So when that soul comes into place, it comes to the child.
Yes.
At what age at what days it comes to the child?
It doesn't have day and time till it establishes itself. It depends on number of the materials you put in and how strong that material keeps the center. I think, Azajan, you as a doctor, you start working, and many of the doctors start working with these dynamic cores. Try to understand how, and try to look how the center of these cores look when you fill them up with ganses. Then you understand the work of the soul much, much easier.
You know, the Buddhists say at 40 days, the soul comes in. So the strength of, now I want to understand the strength of the physicality has to do with the strength of the soul. The strength of the soul comes from the creator itself.
No, the strength of the soul of the man comes from the interaction of the total souls, or what I call field strength of the entities within the sperm and egg, because you carry many, many protons which still have a cycle of life of their own. And it's not just one, it's millions of them.
Okay, so this is what got my attention. You know, when I was 6 months pregnant, when I was in prison, every time they took me to take a shower, which was once a week, when always water was cold. So my daughter always like, I didn't know the gender then, but I would, every time I went under the water, she would goes on one side completely. I mean, as I was holding, I mean, and then it would stay on that side until I would come out. And then I was trying to understand, is she feeling the cold? Is the soul is feeling it, or just the physicality of the soul of the physicality was just there? How much did she have an understanding of the coldness of the water?
It depends. Is it the coldness of the water, or is it the noise which goes to one side hiding? You relate it to the water, but is it your emotion that can I protect this child being on my own in prison when I have nothing, because we see clothes as a protection and now I have to put it somewhere? Or is it your soul says to it to stand somewhere, go somewhere safe, because here I don't know what's going to happen? Is the combination of it. We have to understand our souls exist, and especially the mothers, the soul of the child exists and interacts with the soul of the mother in so many ways. And it's us who has to do it. I remember when my children were getting to born and they were in the womb of the mother, I used to talk with them. I used to put my head and tell them jokes, and sometimes you just get a kick and says, oh, you didn't like the joke. Or I used to touch them and you feel their foot and you tickle them and they move it. And in the process, I used to pray for them, because that the soul become a beautiful soul that it serves. Not that they become healthy, because physicality is irrelevant. And in so many ways, I used to go what they call crazy with birth of my children. It was such a beautiful time to feel them, to know that they are with you, they're going to be with you. I never imagined they're going to become a footballer or this and that. I always imagine how peaceful they become inside. And when I look, all my children are peaceful inside, but the events of outside allows them to react, to manifest themselves in different way. They don't carry what we see in many people, many behaviors, but they have their own behaviors. But you see, we give from our soul. I pray for my children every day, every night. Every day I remember them, I give them from my soul, that they stay correct in the path, through their soul. And not for what I think is correct, but what is correct for their souls and their physicality. We give an input to it because we have a connection to it. So I've heard many mothers talk, oh, my child wants me to eat this, or my child wants me to eat that, or I do this or do that. But in fact, it's the connection between the soul of the child and soul of the mother, and in so many ways the soul of the father, that creates that condition. Ask yourself, let me ask you, you're a medical woman. Ask yourself, why do some children look like their father, or look like their mother, or look like their uncle, or look like their aunties? Why do they manifest themselves in the image of that person? Is that the father or the mother has given so much pure love that is elevated to the same, so they look like the father or the mother? Then you find the answer of the conversion of physicality into the soul of the man.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. Another thing is, I met a guy. He was an astrologer. So when you look at the creation of the soul, all the other planets exist, and I was trying to understand what does it mean to him when he look at somebody's date of birth. It says your Pluto is here.
Can I tell you something? I don't believe in astrologists, so don't bring it up.
So what are these people? Because they're talking about the field too, because there's a field between the earth.
Yes, but most of the astrologists, I'm sorry to say, many of them understand, but they abuse their understanding. And the path they give you, then it changes your life because he said so. But we don't look, the destiny is set by your own soul in respect to what he wants to do, where he wants to do it. If you look at it, I've said this many times. Look at the Chinese calendar. Every so many years you go back to the same animal. Why don't the people who are born in a dog year all don't look like a dog? Or look like a horse or whatever? And all billions of people born in that time of space, suddenly the next day change, they become another animal? Or is this what we have accepted? Okay, we put totality, we accept what somebody said and that's it. I don't believe in astrology, because in a way the fields affect our emotion, the field affects our manifestation and presence, but look at it totally different way than the astrologists try to tell you. These tarot card readers and these astrologists, at this moment of time, very few of them understand the work and what they are there. The rest is just money making. They tell you what you like to hear. Any other question? Sorry, Altajan, can we allow other people to ask questions that we can?
Sure.
Yes, Mr. Keshe, there's some questions from live stream here. We have Freed that was on live stream. He's come on to the Zoom, and I've made him a panelist, so maybe he can ask his question, which I think, Freed, are you there?
Yes, I am here.
Okay.
My question is...
can you please tell us where you are from, please?
I am from the Netherlands, and I'm very long time. I follow your teachings, and we have met in 2012 twice. So since then, I really expanding constantly. It's very special. What my question is, you have earlier spoken about illness. Is illness an alert of our soul to reunite with all? Otherwise, we choose or deteriorate and separate slowly. So that means dead. And then we need to find a new expression instead of expanding and including. So expanding is the answer for any illness I might understand in.
Maybe it's one way to explain it. Maybe we put illnesses as a way of getting attention to ourselves and internally to our souls. Many people get an illness and then suddenly it's not there because something happened in the level of their energy level, what we call from the conversion of the physicality from the soul to a Gans of the physicality. Do you have to look at what you call illness, how you define illness, and how this illness connects to our emotion. This is a very interesting way that once we find a path to the reason for what we call the illness doesn't exist, it disappears.
Mm-hmm. So that would help a lot of people for their challenges, what is going on in their life.
99%. We have to understand what's the reason. We allow others to intrude into our space of our life in our field, and then in response to it, we try to respond in a way which is not appropriate for the soul of the physicality, and then it refuses. And you call it illness. Be it food, be it infection, anything. How come you and I go in the same room with the same infected person? I walk out with the flu and you don't. Why was I receptive to it?
That gives a lot of power to ourselves, to us.
Of course. If you go back to the teaching of many years, I always said, when we go to space, we don't carry no medicine and no food. And everybody thought that we're going to carry a system that makes medicine for us. And in so many ways, I keep on saying, in a space we have viruses, but we don't have germs. But now that the man understands the power of his soul and the power of his physicality, the soul of his physicality, do you think you need any ganses? Or do you need any medicine? As you understand the balance between the two fields. So it's not that we are not taking and we make medicine or something to help in the space, but in fact it's the man become aware of his own strength of the operation of his soul and physicality, the soul of his physical part, and one will compensate for the other one to elevate, that it passes the field of strength, which that time can cause the, what you call it, a mutation or something new in it. We have now, as I said, we open the doors into a totally new understanding. We are responsible for everything of our creation. The color of eye, the color of hair, the behavior, acceptance of, and these things a lot of people don't like. if you return in your passport blue eyes and you appear in the customs, you have a dark green eye, what do you think the guy might say? Can you take the lenses off? He says no, but it says it's blue here or green here. It's going to be a very messy job for custom officers in the coming time. For those who understand the power of the strength of their physical soul and their life soul. That's why we said there is no need for no borders. Because now we manifest ourselves in the soul of ourselves, in what we decide. And many, many times I explain this, and a lot of people do not follow the line of what I call knowledge. The best man who understood how to transform his physicality into his soul and then manifest himself totally in different shape and manifestation of physicality was Christ, bless his name. But you call it resurrection.
Mm-hmm.
So every one of us, and don't forget, go back to the writing of Baha'u'llah, bless his name, says the knowledge of the man, when achieves the understanding of meditation of element, more or less, will be equal to the prophet of the past. So if Christ, bless his name, understood and he could do the conversion to bring his physical soul to his soul of his existence and then manifest itself in a different dimension when it goes through the soul and it comes up different, then you understand if it's equal, it means we all have the capability of it. There is a very understanding point. There is something very interesting for those who will understand one day what I explained about this point. If you go through the life of Mary, after the resurrection of the Christ, as you call it, when the Christ understood the transformation of mutation of the fields into the matter state and back to what he wanted, it took him a long time to convince her who he is. It took him a long time because he was totally a different shape and different man. Many, many secrets they had between the two he could explain that allowed them to rejoin as a husband and wife. Many, many. One day, those who come from that blood, who being present, will explain. It's very hard to tell your child or your lover, this is me. And then says, I know you like this, I know you like that. Do you remember with it? How do you know if you're not there? It was a very harsh time for the two. And this will repeat many, many times for a lot of us.
Mr. Keshe, Rui has a question, if you can take it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
And by the way, next time is the 200th workshop. Could that be an oversight of all the 199 workshops before? That would be very helpful.
We decide what the souls decide.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We're
you.
working on it. The little elves are working on it in the background.
You have to realize that 200 workshop is already passed because Rick and I did about 4 or 5 before we start numbering them.
Actually, we had 10 that were called the, what was it? The the public teaching workshops. There were 10 of those initially, and Mr.
And
Keshe,
the 11th became changed.
and then you had many special appearances in the plasma reactor group before that as well, which I've been reviewing some of those, and it's quite interesting.
Our friend who said about Netherlands, I used to give lectures, sometimes 1 or 2 a week in Holland. Sometimes 3 or 4 of them a month on a regular basis. We have many, many beautiful knowledge seekers in Holland. Many. I used to teach, I used to give lectures in a hall in Holland with the help of my ex-secretary, where they used to provide a hall for us to teach. Many people used to come to the presentations.
I was at 2 of them. That was very special.
Good afternoon, Mr. Keshe. I have a question. This is Gatua.
Yes, Mr. Kato.
Thank you very much, first, for your unsurpassed sharing of knowledge unconditionally and to all of us. Now, I have a question about the use of our soul. What you have just explained, that we can travel through our souls by making our soul of physicality so loving that it enters our soul of totality. Now, I'm wondering whether when we do that, we go with our clothes and whether there is enough room for luggage. Thank you very much.
What would you like to carry? A leather suit? A leather
Yes,
jacket? The thing is, I'm going to answer you in a very, very different way. Amongst us on this planet, there are many of those who have been through this transmutation. And you'll find out they don't come with any suitcase and they do not come with any clothing. But on the desire to look as a human, as us, they create according to their desire what it needs to be. Sometimes they reside, and sometimes in residing they abuse the position in the knowledge they carried. And we've seen 2 of those as 2 big families around, which originally were not from here, but they've used the knowledge and the weakness of the man. And they're still creating mayhem. They still try to play games, and their time is over. You don't need to carry any suitcase. It means you haven't understood fully the knowledge. When you manifest yourself on earth, you don't appear naked. You come with the totality of the dress, where you're born, because that's the wish to be. The souls observe everything.
I got a question, Mr. Keshe. It's Caroline.
Yes, Mrs. Keshe.
Can you explain or go into more depth? We got these questions bombarded. Why would a soul behave different here on Earth than in the universe? If it's once understood how to conduct here on this planet.
That is your assumption, excuse me.
Then should the conduct not be the same in the universe?
Yes, but the soul of the man is pure. Does not matter where you take it. Is the physicality which enters into these games. The soul of physicality has to satisfy the soul of the planet and the soul of other physicalities. Where the soul of the man does not need to satisfy none. Nothing. So the soul of the man on this earth and the soul of the man in the universe is exactly the same. You are conditioned. In the universe, you don't eat others. You don't kill others. On this planet, because of the field strength of the soul of the man and the field strength of the soul of the planet, package eating, what we call killing, has become part of it, and now we're changing it. So, man does not commit no crime. Man does not do adultery. Man does not go around and hide and cheat. I was listening to one of the psychological teachings in the past few days, and it was very interesting to listen. That the husband found out about the wife's relationship with another man on the soul, on not the physical level. And he was asking the psychologist, what can I do? And the psychologist's answer was very simple. You find yourself, you don't need to do anything. And this is what we do not understand. The soul of the man is pure and clean. The soul of entity, any entity in the universe, is so clean and pure that is interaction with the soul of the environment which decides the behavior, but the soul knows. You'll find out those who come from amongst us, from other part of the universe, they never commit any crime. Because it's not in their nature. And the manifestation of physicality of this planet does not affect them, because they are here according to the conversion of the field, but not the conversion of their soul. Because if they do, and you put them in prison, and they know how to convert, there will be no one in the prison. How many prisons are missing? By nature, they do not commit anything wrong, because they always leave a balanced field that it brings the totality in order. So, our souls are pure.
But still, that is where the huge confusion sits. For who and what are you then writing the chart?
We write for the eye of the man, to touch through it, to understand the soul of the man.
So you write the chart for the physical man.
Yes, to connection through his soul.
But it's the soul of the physicality you're writing the chart for, so it still is on soul level.
Yes, but it's writing it to find its way to the soul of the man. The physical life of the man we have protected through the Earth Council. The path to the order of the soul of the man goes in the hand of Universal Council. That's why many of them will resign. Many of them will step down. Because they see through their soul that they have come, and they could not understand, or they could not serve the soul in the appropriate way. And those who come with a tinted of the physicality, they already walk away. We've seen 2 of them up to now. It's not so much we don't trust our soul. It's so much we receive so much wrong teachings over thousands of years that we do not know our souls. And now we start getting to know. And it's a friend which is so deep within us that they frighten us in the dimension of physicality. But we shouldn't be afraid, we have to rejoice finding our Creator.
But isn't it through our innocence that this manipulation has been able to be taken place for such a long, long, long time? And isn't it to start asking the questions, to stand still, what is real and what is not real? And where can we touch so many more to start asking the questions, what they're getting chewed at every day, what they're getting showed at, even taught through the schools how to place it in the correct order of understanding what is reality and what is not, and where they're getting walked into, and they don't understand that they have the power to step out of it, or to define the difference between what is being created to believe for them to follow and what is the reality, and that they can function between the two. They can function in their materialistic world, and they can function and learn and develop the path to their soul. Where can we start supporting for people to open those doors of where to look for and where to distinguish, where they're walking into a framework which has been placed for them to be fooled, than the reality, and work within the two without being attempted to go into any crime, to make sure they can function in both of them. Because if we're working by creating on the chart for the soul of the man, it is still on soul level for the physicality to understand, to go to the path and open the door to their original, which is the pure soul.
Let me explain something you understand. First of all, it's you who allows others to fool you and put you in the frame. Nobody else. It's the need. No.
Mr. Keshe,
Let me explain. No.
Just one thing.
Yeah.
How can you say this when the children are already getting fooled from within the education framework?
Yes, but stop. There are 2 or 3 different points here, not one. First of all, we set up the Universal Council, or put it the other way, we set up the Earth Council, the Universal Council, and the core team. The core are the soul of the creator, the 14 members of the core council. In time, it will be revealed. In time, people will understand. Their soul are sacrosanct. They are the dimension into opening of the universe in the universal community. The Earth Council is the connection between the soul of the physicality trying to understand their position. In so many ways, the position of what you used to call the prophet of the past. The Earth Council is responsible for the physicality of the man to create a condition that the man has find a peaceful soul to be able to coexist in both dimensions of the physical soul or the soul of the man. It comes down to the Earth Council members to create a condition that no such a condition from now on exists. What is the problem we have in education society today? We get bunch of people who've been abused, choose the path of education to abuse the others. You look at the psychology of many teachers in the schools. They become teachers to do what they've done to them to take revenge or to confirm they have their strength. The people who are the educators have entered the education system totally the wrong way to start with. We have many teachers with the wrong ethos to teach. And then we have another problem in our teaching society, which is with one nation goes, is the teaching of the history. That one nation. Why do we need history lessons? To show who's better than the other and how we did, and we are always the better. The history lessons has to be taken out of the education altogether. The way it's taught today. The history has to show how man evolved, how things happened, not how man killed and who was better. And every nation shows that history we are the best. And then we go to the position of those who set up the education system. Because they themselves have a very direct connection to those who set up the abuse to start with. And then if you look at the total structure of any constitution in the world, anything you pass in any parliament has to be ratified by the religious member of the whatever could be called parliament. Otherwise it doesn't become law. So we have accepted the abuse from the beginning in the operation because they said there to abuse the soul to begin with. You look at any constitution, British, French, whatever. At the end, there is a member of the religion present in the parliament that has to vote and accept that it fits the structure of the abuse they set up. That's why we're done with the religions, because we are institutionalized to be abused from the beginning to the benefit of those who want to abuse us, to make us murderers, to become us, to victors. Look at the speech of the world presidents in the past few weeks. We spent 700 billion to make a defense to kill more. Because it makes a lot of money for those who sit in the religious offices. Wars are the most beneficial way, as I've said in many teachings, for the clergymen. They ratified. Most of the wars are ratified by the religious people or incited by them to show that they have a power they can abuse and torture or whatever. So this is what we have to say in the past. Whatever we've done in the past is over. We have to start everything fresh. And we are doing it gradually. As I said, you will see the changes in the next couple of years, the way the foundation will bring out. We don't fight, we just carry on with our way. But in that process, we bring so many people to understand that there is no abuse and there is no control. And nobody needs to do wrong, because it's not a matter of cleaning the floor that the child might not pick up a pen or might not fall off the chair or might not go down the stairs. Is elevating the soul of a child, that physicality to touch is become irrelevant. That the pen is not there. If it's there, it's nothing to do with me. We have to start the education of the soul of the man in the womb of the mother. With love and care and giving. Not when it comes out, then we start educating. It's in Torah, go and read it. How they frightened the man. From the establishment, from the beginning. The creation of the devil and the wrongdoing. Because that way you create the weakness in the man. And look at the teaching which is going on now. Nobody to be punished, because we are all strong enough not to do mistakes. To become the judge of our own doing. We don't need no one to tell us what is right and what is wrong. And what we have to do if we do something wrong. Why do we have to amputate the finger or arm of the man who steals in one part of the world? How come in adultery we put the money in the box and it's forgiven? And how come we go to another nation and dimension and a murder or a stealing or adultery, it could be anything, as long as nobody knows. I cover up. The damage of stealing, adultery or killing is all the same. You take from somebody. If we teach a man not to take what it doesn't belong to it, that he finds his balance, we don't need any of these things. It's the weakness who people allow the others to dictate and abuse. And they allow people to walk into abusive position themselves. Raping a woman while under unconsciousness or hypnotism or willingly, but we keep it quiet. is a crime that will be punishable for both sides. Stealing from a man, putting a hand in the pocket, or robbing a house to create a harm and pain to the man who lost it is punishable. Look at what happened to the people who steal. And it's the same with the religious people. Look what happens and how now that the new teaching has started, the priest will walk out, what I call priest of any religion, and confess to their own doing, as we see it started. And it'll go more and more, because now we elevate their souls, we don't punish them. Every day we see new revelations. There is a huge move, as we've seen in even European countries, people moving away from religion, because nothing comes out of religion except abuse of children, of people, and the rest. Man's religion has to be conduct of his soul and nothing else. Any other question?
Yes, Mr. Keshe, this is Gatwa again.
Yes,
thank you
Mr.
very
Gatwa.
much for answering my question, but I did not hear the very last point you made about how you don't carry clothes, but yet you do not manifest naked.
Try it and try to go to the tribe you are. You'll be the same as the tribe you appear in. Because the soul will not allow you to be lower or higher. You'll be equal. This is something man will learn very, very quickly. You don't take the position of just the soul of the planet. You take the soul of those who live within the planet and within when you manifest yourself.
Thank you very much, Mr. Keshe.
You're welcome.
Mr. Keshe, this is Boniface. Good morning.
Good morning.
I have a question about the Constitution. I just want to confirm what you said earlier, that those of us who have submitted questions or comments, those will be evaluated come December. And the idea is that the council decide to will be incorporated then, and it will be released in January. Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Otherwise, forever there'll be. I know you have submitted, and I know it was looked at. We looked at it in some short way, but everything goes in to be done and will be decided by the Earth Council that any changes will be done once a year.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Keshe, who is speaking, just one little question, and I want to thank you the answer before as well. Can I go on?
Yes, please.
Yeah, I wonder if you can explain when you talk about the soul of the man and the soul of the physical man, if the soul of man, it's a collective soul or it's your higher being, but it's collective by our understanding.
It's a collective soul.
Thank you very much. There is someone asking here, by mistake, I say I will answer on live. If emotion is connecting between physicality and soul, so where is the place of thought and with what it is connected? It's not my question. I'm reading some.
When you separate the soul of physicality stays within the physicality of the planet. In any space. Then the soul, which is left on its own, will create its own physical dimension.
Yeah, thank you very much. For me, it was very understandable, everything. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any more questions, or shall we call it a day? It's nearly 3 hours.
Keshe, can I ask one more question, please?
Yeah.
What happens to the time?
Time does not exist. It's an illusion of man.
So time goes away.
Time does not exist. We all live within the same time.
Okay. And then
Physicality creates time for man.
and why are you saying that a lot of us don't want to do this? Why is that?
Not maturity, fear of loss of physicality, knowing that the balance to create the condition of the transmutation of the strength of the fields will mean a lot of corrections. We are the judge of our own souls. We know what we've done wrong, and we know what we have done right, and we know what we have created, and we understand fully what this means. So we fully know. Those of us will embrace it because we are aware of what we have achieved, what we have done. Those of us will fear it because we'll know it will not be, well, let's say, the size and the shape you like it to be when it becomes part of your soul. There has to be balances, and then you find out there is a limitation. You have created that limitation in the manifestation of the physicality, and then your soul will balance things out. There should be no fear, as the soul of the man is so strong that it can correct anything. It's just the man who has to have a trust in his own strength of his own soul.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe. I think this is amazing. That's fantastic. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Very much.
Mr. Keshe, maybe you can answer one quick question from Marin, who's been patient in the live stream. For space travel through the soul, do you talk about the same thing that the ancient texts called this Merkaba and the journey to the light body? Okay. And then he mentions, and then the rematerialization of the cellular structure. But I think that's basically what you've been talking about tonight anyway, or today anyway. In your own way.
We take from the pot according to our intelligence and what we can interpret, and what it suits us. Shall we call it a day? It's nearly exactly 3 hours.
Thank you, Mr. Keshe.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, the whole Keshe Foundation team. And as I said, we elevate. We give, not to elevate, we give from our souls to the souls of the world leaders, that especially those who have started making the change and making this planet a peaceful planet. I have always supported President Putin of Russia and always stand firm in that point. And the same has been with the peaceful man, the President of China, His Excellency President Xi. And those presidents or the world leaders who are incited war, and they see as a war and an army as a way of showing the strength of a nation, I give from my soul to them that they become wise like the other leaders. Thank you very much.
I am present.
I am present.
I am
I am
present.
present.
I am 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 present too.
I am present.
I am present.
I am present too.
I am present.
I am
Thank you
present.
all. Thank you all for your presence here today. This has been the 199th Knowledge Seekers Workshop for Thursday, November 23rd, 2017. And as always, thank you everybody for attending. And thank you, Mr. Keshe, for your gifts to us today, your gifts of presence, you might say. Reminder about the sending stuff, Rick. Vince is reminding me about something, and I'm not sure about it, what it is. Oh, yes, for people to, if they have a presentation or something they'd like to bring up with the workshop that involves some sort of PDF or something, then they can send it to the webmaster at keshefoundation.org, and that can get through to me, and we can have a look at it before presenting and see if it's appropriate and check it and so on. We don't usually accept presentation on the spot here now. Okay, thank you very much. And let's carry on with our music to end the show today.